So, hey there, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon or this morning. Happy Valentine's Day. And congratulations for all of you who were able to get my message and to receive this, or even if you just stumbled upon this message, I'm so glad to have you here so that I'm able to share this information with you. I'm going to do a little presentation here for Valentine's Day. My name is Kevette Minor Kane, and this is Mindful Money Moments, sponsored by Mari Moore Life, Mindset and Money Management, where I am a financial liberation expert, and I guide women and men on their journey to self-sufficiency by teaching them about how our emotions affect our money management. So, this is a big day for me in terms of being able to share this message and to give the encouragement necessary for folks to really make sure that we keep in perspective how our mindset affects our money management. And so today I'm going to talk about love and money is our topic. And so I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to be about 30 minutes or so. I'm trying to keep this short if possible. All right, so here we go. Sharing my screen and there we go. All right, awesome. And so here's our presentation for today. We are going to be discussing, obviously, this is the Mindful Money Moments broadcast. Our topic for today is love and money, and it's February 14th, 2022. This is a Mari Moore Life presentation. And so Mari Moore Life, with the Mindful Money Moments, is a blog as well as a broadcast. And you can find both links on www.marimorelife.com at the website, where you can also go to join the community. So when you join the community on marimorelife.com, then you're able to take advantage of community resources as well as community rewards in reference to mindset and money management. So there's some documents there and some links where you'll be able to take advantage of the information that's being shared, as well as the financial education to draw you to a place where you're actually putting into application, taking the steps necessary for you to accomplish your goals and your dreams. And so that's what this is truly all about, being able to support you on that road to self-sufficiency. So at marimorelife.com, I am Kevette Minor Kane again, and I serve my clients through financial planning, business strategy, and mindset coaching. Also hosting the financial education through seminars, workshops, and courses online. And so you're able to go there. Once you become a community member, then you'll see all of the services that are available. You can actually scroll down the homepage even before you become a member and schedule a 15-minute consultation with me for free. And in that 15 minutes, I'm able to support you in understanding what are your next steps on this journey to self-sufficiency. And we're going to talk about what self-sufficiency means just a little bit with our presentation today. But really, it's so important that you're able to take advantage of this information and this knowledge for free, and it's not just that it's free, but it's in a place where it's been organized and put together in a way that you will be able to take advantage of knowing what to read, knowing what to learn, knowing what to pay attention to. There's so much information in the world today, and most of it is available to us at our fingertips through Google. The challenge is that oftentimes we don't know what questions to ask. And if you're unclear about what questions to ask concerning your financial planning, your business strategy, and your mindset, then feel free to join that community. And that's where you'll be able to get the guidance, because we do know the answers to the questions that you don't even know to ask yet. And so being able to share with you what those questions are will lead you in the right direction to now taking action and accomplishing those goals that you've set forth. Maybe you've got that big picture and you know what that looks like, but it's understanding the smaller steps to get there that is a challenge. And so I'm here to support you with that. And So again, my name is Kevette Minor Kane, and I am your financial liberation expert. I am a certified financial education instructor, as well as a certified emotional intelligence practitioner. Thus, we've got both sides of the coin covered. We've got the emotions or the mindset, as well as the money management, and understanding the strategies and the awareness that we need to have in order to, again, accomplish our goals and take our next steps on that journey to self-sufficiency. And so happy Valentine's Day, because that's why we're here. We're here for our mindful money moments. And today is our love and money conversation. And so we're going to identify three areas of love and money, or, three statuses in life, three stages in life, three phases of life that would be pertinent to you. And so that would be, of course, the single self-love life, where you're able to, maintain your solo situation. You are alone, but you're not lonely. You have that self-love, or you're working to get to a point where you've got self-love, and you're working towards self-sufficiency as well, and maintaining that. Then the second area, of course, is here, cash conscious couples, and understanding what it means to combine your efforts, being able to care for each other, and then being able to compromise in your relationship, understanding what's necessary there. And so then we've got the third stage, which is marital money matters. And that means being able to come to a mutual agreement. Once you are married, now you've got a partnership that you have participated in. And unbeknownst to many people, you have made a business arrangement. And so, understanding what is involved in that business arrangement and the agreement that you have now legally bound yourself into, and making sure that you are fully aware during this stage and this stage of what the commitment is when you're in this stage. And so you want that to be long-term, and understand how are you going to manage things for your best interest through that process. Okay. And so first, let's talk about our single self-love. And so we're looking at here, self first. You never want to sacrifice yourself to help someone else. And you want to make sure that you're putting your mask on first. So there's a few things here that I'd just like to, bring to the attention of someone who is single in self-love. You want to keep in mind that you would keep your life, simplified because you're going solo. Maybe you have some goals where you want to, live a higher quality of life, and you want to be able to experience, different things. Maybe you're a traveler. Well, you're able to do that a little easier when there's just one of you, because you're able to just take care of yourself and you don't have another person to accommodate, whether it be emotionally or financially, and you're able to make your own decisions because you've got that solid ground to stand on, and you're the CEO of your life. You are fully responsible for, everything that happens or doesn't happen. And so you get to make those final decisions, those final choices in your single life, and being able to move forward. And so, paying attention to how you're doing that and managing your money in the process. One of the challenges I think that single people have is, especially when they have a desire to be with someone, is not putting that full effort before themselves. And so that's where that statement comes from: never sacrifice yourself to help someone else. I'm going to go straight into this, scenario. I watched a movie this past weekend, and I know many people have. It was called The Tinder Swindler. And I really enjoyed, it was more of a documentary film that was put together on Netflix. And watching that documentary, it really brought up some very significant points about dating and about singleness. And myself being a single woman. Now I've been through all three phases of, of these relationships. So I was single, obviously, before, back in my 20s. In my 20s, I got married. I was dating first, obviously, dating. And then my boyfriend and I decided to get married. And so we got married, and I was married for 17 years. I'm sorry, 19 years. We were together for 17 years. And now I'm divorced. And so I'm single again. And I recognize the difference now from being single when I was younger and being single now at an older age, and hopefully with much greater maturity. I'll say that for myself. And in these circumstances, I know that in my youth, I had a very challenging marriage, first and foremost. Anyone who knows my story understands, and maybe you're not familiar, so I can bring you up to speed. I suffered 3 major traumas in less than 3 years, not long ago. And in those, one of those major traumas was that I realized that I had been in an abusive relationship for that 17 years. And that was during a time when I was grieving over my father and still enduring that abuse, but I was outside of the familiar, circumstances. And so it felt more uncomfortable. And I was actually able, because I was away from my abuser, I was able to take a look at that situation from an objective perspective and to understand what was going on. And it was in those circumstances that I had to take an opportunity, because that was when my separation occurred. It was in the early spring of the year, maybe a few months after my father passed away. So maybe about like 5 months after my father passed away. And so I was still in the heavy grieving stages, but there were so many challenges in that relationship that I felt pressured instead of comforted whenever we had conversations. I recently did a talk on domestic violence. And so you can listen to that if you want to hear the full story on Clubhouse under the Stop the Violence BTGYP group. It's a club on Clubhouse. And when you go there, you'll be able to scroll down and you can hear the domestic violence talk that I gave from this past Saturday, which gives, the full scope of that story. But one thing that I had to actually realize was that when I went into my marriage situation, I was looking for rescue. And I say that because I was not in a place where I was completely self-sufficient, or I was, as well as I was not in a place where I was capable of putting myself first, because I was challenged when I, in my singleness, through the dating period, and then even into marriage. There was a short dating period because of, I guess, my desperation. I was, looking for someone to help me and to support me because I didn't feel like I could do it on my own. And understanding what that is in terms later on of codependency. It's like when you are dealing with that kind of mindset, it does not set you up to be successful with another person. And so I bring that up because in the movie, the young lady who, had been swindled out of, hundreds of thousands of dollars said that, in the end, she still went back to Tinder because, she believed in the dating site. But what stood out to me was that she said she's still looking for love. And that's, a big red flag question mark for me, because what I believe is that when you're looking for a relationship, then you should already have love. So what you're looking for is to share that love with someone else. And that's where the mindset comes into play. You're not looking for someone else to rescue you or to complete you, because you're already complete, and you already understand this part here, which is self-sufficiency. And so you're able to go into the relationship with a healthy perspective because of that self-love, because you're capable of you learned how to put yourself first, and And the example here is to put your mask on first. Now, that example may have some different meaning today because of COVID-19. But what that really is in reference to is like when you're on the airplane and the flight attendant, gives you the warnings from the initial flight, and they're telling you, go ahead and put your mask on first. If there's any cabin pressure change and the mask falls down from the ceiling, then you want to make sure that you put yours on first. And then if there's anyone else around you that needs assistance, then you would go ahead and render that or lend that assistance to that person in order to help them. But if you're the kind of person who's going to be self-sacrificing here to help someone else, then that means you didn't put your mask on first. And the danger there is that you could actually die in that situation before you would get an opportunity to help the other person. And so both of you could die. And so this is absolutely critical to understand how this correlates to our own lives, and recognizing that while you are single, you are capable of taking care of yourself, both emotionally and financially. Getting that across and fully understanding that. And if you don't understand that, reach out to me. I would love to have that conversation with you. We can go into a deeper conversation and help to understand, what are maybe the layers that you need to dig into to pull back, and then to be able to reveal what are the things that you need to heal, because that's where you are able to become complete, is through the healing process. Okay. And so taking advantage of that, that opportunity to care for yourself first. And another point about this is oftentimes when we're caring for ourselves first, people will say, oh, you're so selfish. Oh, you're so conceited. Oh, you're so, whatever the negative term is that they want to, reference, because they feel like you should be maybe taking care of them first. And pay attention to those folks in your life that would call you out on something in that way. Because what you want to realize is that, it is in your best interest to care for yourself first, and to make sure that you have everything that you need covered. And that way, when you're helping someone else, then you're serving from the overflow. Okay, so your cup is full and you're serving from the overflow. And that even renders, attention back to that movie scenario where the young lady was, she met this guy, and in a very short period of time, because she was looking for this fantasy romance, she was swept away and, overwhelmed in the situation. And then he was able to emotionally turn the tables on her, and to make her feel like she was obligated now, because he had shown her some love. She was obligated now to financially support him or assist him in, whatever challenges that he was having. Obviously, that was all made up and, didn't even exist. But that was the vulnerability there. The vulnerability there was that she was not putting herself first and saying, oh, this is not extra money I have to give to somebody. So I'm sorry that, you've got these people coming after you and, your life is in danger, but I can't now put my life in danger in order for you to be okay. And then I'm going to be, not okay. Does that make sense? Making sure that you're taking care of yourself first, that you're good. And then when you're good, got your mask on first, then you're able to now render or lend assistance to someone else, because you have extra. If you don't have extra, you can't help. Okay. And it's that simple. So being self-sufficient is a requirement in that process. And here, just a statement, understanding that self-determination means not having to ask someone else's permission about what to do with your money. And so that means being able to make those decisions for yourself. But like that young lady in the movie, she went to the bank and asked about borrowing money in order to support him. Ladies, never. Never. We're not borrowing money to give to somebody else unless there is, and what we're doing. Okay, period. Let me just end that statement. We're not borrowing money to give to somebody else. What we will do is borrow money to invest in an opportunity to earn a return. And there's a reasonable amount of risk that may be involved, but it's reasonable. It's not you just taking this money and giving it off to somebody. That's foolish, and that is not caring for yourself first. So make sure, and even men, come on now. I've faced situations. I've talked to young men who have been in this situation where a young woman has come up and, she needs his assistant and he wants to feel like he's the savior, like he's the rescuer. You are not the source. You are not the source. There is a creator who provides for all of us: food, clothing, shelter, necessities, oxygen, bodily function, things that you can't even control. And the thing is, when we get to a position where we feel like we need to designate that for somebody else, that is also an unhealthy relationship with ourselves, because we're feeling like, that we need to contribute to their being okay by sacrificing ourselves in order to be the savior. And that's not okay. So those are two things that you really want to stay away from. And you want to make sure that you are being conscious of putting yourself first, not sacrificing yourself for someone else, and making sure that you are self-sufficient. That if when you do give to someone else, you're giving from your overflow. Okay. And so the next stage of life is this here. The cash conscious couples. Okay. And so with cash conscious couples, the things that we have to be careful about here is paying attention to our level of confidence, and as well as paying attention to not or to how we compromise. Okay. You want to be a cash conscious couple. And that means, as a single person, paying attention to how much money you're spending while you're dating. What are your goals in that process? Knowing that you have enough income to not just care for yourself, but to share with someone else. And that you are blending, but not giving up. Okay. So same situation, you're coming together with someone, you want to be a cash conscious couple. You're not giving away your resources. You're not giving away your opportunity to care for yourself first, and to make sure that you're complete, that you're healthy, that you're whole, before you're considering, what do I have to share? And that's when you are full. Maintaining your ability to be self-sufficient and complete. That means that you are whole and you already have love. You've got self-love, so you've got that built up in yourself in order to be able to now share that with someone else. You're not looking for somebody else to complete you. You're not looking for someone else to make you feel happy. You're not looking for someone else to make you feel loved, because you have already done the work while you were single to be complete and to be whole and to heal whatever challenges there may have been to those feelings, or to being able to manage those emotions. And that includes, the trauma and abuse that I've already spoken of. I know even from I speak of it from my personal situation because it's the reference that I know, but there are other people who have had even more dramatic situations. I look at my situation as not having been that dramatic. It was challenging, but there are some, there's always going to be someone who has been through more or worse, and there's always going to be someone who's doing better. And so I look at it from that perspective, but understanding that you've got to deal with your stuff. You've got to deal with your issues. You've got to deal with your own challenges. No one is coming to rescue you from that. And so, looking for a mate or a partner to now escape from having to do the work for yourself only creates a bigger mess. If you're not a conscious couple, whether that's cash or, your feelings, your concerns, making sure that you are being emotionally aware of one another, making sure that you are emotionally aware of yourself. and that you're not giving up yourself or losing yourself in a relationship where you feel, either like you've got to be the rescuer or you're going to be rescued again, and to make sure that you are conscious of being able to maintain your level of confidence. Oftentimes what happens with women, especially when we're, looking to have those rescue fantasies, is that we will just give up everything. I mean, I know for myself, even there was a point in time when I gave up my power for everything. I gave up my power to make decisions for myself. Gave up my power, my financial power. There was someone else who was making those decisions for me and was making very poor decisions. I was educated. I had the financial education at the time, but what I was missing was that mindset piece. And when you're able to recognize that in yourself, that's when you can do the work that's necessary in order to heal. When you can be healed, then you can get to the point of being healthy, have healthy relationships. But you want to be whole when that happens. You want a whole person and another whole person coming together. You don't want 50-50. 50-50 is not going to cut it. 50-50 just ain't going to do it. But you need to have that 100%. 100% and 100%. So you come in 100 and 100. Can you do that? Can you find somebody who's 100 and come together with their 100, and you be 100 and y'all just be, 100 together, because if you got 50 and 50, then you're going to end up with 50. And it's great to have a half full cup. You get that? Great to have a half full cup, because that means you've got a positive perspective. But if your cup is only half full, 50, right? 50%, and you're coming together with someone else and you're giving them half of what you have, then that means that you're going to be depleted. So you're going to end up with even less. You're going to have a quarter cup left. And that's not enough for you to run off of, much less to serve or support anyone else. So you want to make sure that you are 100% full. And that when you have an opportunity to serve or connect with someone else, that you are serving and connecting with them through your overflow. And so you stay full, you stay centered, you stay focused, you stay, complete, you stay whole, you stay understanding your emotions, your mental state, your spiritual connection, your physical health, and your financial well-being. All of those things are in place. And when you get together with somebody else, then you're being conscious of, being able to come together with another whole person. And so that means being able to identify in relationships, both the red flags and the green flags. Okay, so where do I come at with, these green flags, right? Because we haven't heard a whole lot about that. Usually you'll hear people who are giving, relationship information or advice talking about, oh, be careful of the red flags, look out for this and look out for that. And, well, if that happens, guess what you're going to continue to find? If that's what you're looking for, you're going to continue to find those red flags because that's all you're looking for. Now, recognize them when they come up. Be aware, don't be naive, be conscious, but at the same time, look for the green flags. Do you know what a healthy relationship looks like? Do you know what that feels like? Do you know what are the healthy responses to questions or challenges that may come up between the two of you? What is a healthy response? Is it yelling and belittling you? Or is it sitting down and having a conversation and being able to work through it calmly and peacefully together, in an effort to get to the next level, but if you've got this constant tug of war going on, how are you going to make any progress, because you're going to keep that knot stuck in the middle because nobody wants to go anywhere. You don't want to give in to their end and they don't want to give in to your end. But if you're working together, then it's like, you're on a wheelbarrow and you both have an end of the wheelbarrow and you're pushing it together going forward, and so making sure that you are a cash conscious couple. Now I have to apologize because my next slide is incomplete, but I want to address now the marital money matters. And so for those marital money matters, we've actually got this point here where you can look at the mutual long-term management of that relationship. Marriage is a business arrangement first and foremost. And I think not enough people really recognize that. You could be together with someone and enjoy your life with them and share what you have with them without being married forever, right? But marriage is when you take it to the next level and you're coming together because you want to have a conglomerate. You're creating now a merger of sorts. And understand that on a business side, from a money management perspective, when you're bringing together two companies that are going to be merging, OMG, they don't just say, oh, hey, you're so cute. And oh, you're so nice. And oh, we had a great dinner. And oh, I just feel amazing about spending time with you. And yeah, let's just merge our companies together and see how it works out. What? No. That is not what happens. They say, okay, well, let me look at your financial reports. Let me see your operating plan. How's your marketing going? Is that bringing in the revenue? Are you meeting your bottom line goals and obligations? I mean, what have you done so far? What have you accomplished in your business? Why did you establish your business? What do you want from this merger? What is that going to create for us? How are we going to both be able to benefit from that? And they sit down with their lawyers and they sit down with their accountants and they sit down with their consultants and they hash out all this information and they review and review and review and objectively look to see, is this something that's going to really work for us? That now that's a different perspective to take at looking at a love relationship, because there is some emotion involved. Obviously, businesses have to really like each other if they're going to merge, but it has to also make business sense. So the same thing applies in our relationships. You obviously you like the person, but the question is the merger going to make sense? If this person has a 500 credit score because they are so irresponsible, that's their credibility. The numbers don't lie. Don't now go and say, oh, but they're so nice. Oh, he's so nice. I just, we can work on the credit score. I know we can. Yeah. Okay. Right. After your 750 or 800 credit score comes down. Right. And now you both have no resources because the one person or the other person was not taking care of their responsibilities on their own. And so making sure that you've got those things kind of lined up in order. Do they have a bank account? How much money is in that bank account? How much money are they putting in that bank account? If they can't share that information with you, there's no time for a merger. Because mergers mean you feel that you can trust a person enough to open yourself up to be examined, and that you have cared for your responsibilities enough that you're not self-conscious about somebody else looking into your books. Because you have done your bookkeeping and you took care of your responsibilities, and you've got a business that is in, excuse me, or a personal life. I'm going to say a business in good standing because that's what it is. It's a strategy to maintain your good standing in business, but it's the same thing on a personal level, maintaining your good standing as an individual. And making sure that you have got in place the things that are going to support your now merged new business, Mr. and Mrs. whatever, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, that you're not trying to keep up with somebody else, but y'all already got your own stuff together. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you're now moving forward in life, in your merger, and you're still able to maintain the strength that you brought together as a unit to support and not what is now not both sides, but to support what is now the whole organization. So you've got to have a whole organization and a whole organization that are coming to merge together, and they create not two whole organizations, one whole organization. And so that's for the long term. Businesses don't merge to now not to unmerge. I mean, I've never heard of that. Have y'all ever heard of that? An unmerger? But it's because they've done the work in advance to understand what is necessary. Now businesses do go into, haven't, whatever circumstances may come up, and they do fail. Same as marriages fail. Many marriages end up in divorce. I've experienced that myself. And I know that it was because I did not do the work in advance to make sure that the agreement that I made, the merger that I was making, was going to be beneficial on both ends, and that we would be able to come together 100. I was not 100. So I know I didn't do my part, and he certainly wasn't 100. So he didn't do his part. But that's where the lack of education comes into play. And that's why I do what I do today. To make sure that we are having these conversations and that we are more conscious about our cash flow, about our credit, about our savings, about our insurance, about our investments, about our mindset, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial, putting all those things together to understand that, you are one whole, complete person. And then whoever you choose to have a relationship with on whatever level that is, whether it's a business relationship strictly, or it's a friendship, or it's a marriage, that you can be whole, healed, healthy, and whole in those relationships, and to continue moving forward, successfully accomplishing your goals, because that is the ultimate success. You want to accomplish the goals that you set out for yourself, your dreams. You want to create the reality of your dreams. And so it takes some work in advance to complete the steps necessary in order to see that big dream come true, And so that's what this is all about, taking those steps. And so I just want to thank you all for spending this time with me today, for understanding, what are those, what is love and money, and the balance that goes, into that, and understanding, first and foremost, how as a single, you need to have self-love, putting yourself first and making sure that you've got self-sufficiency, and then coming together as a couple, a cash conscious couple, making sure that you are confident and that you are capable of making a compromise when necessary. And compromise does not mean that you're sacrificing yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to give up what you want or give up who you are in order to make the other person happy so that y'all can stay together. If that's the case, it's not going to work anyway. You're both going to end up miserable. So the thing is, even in that compromise, it is about understanding, how do you come together to weigh in the balance? You've got one complete person and another complete person. And how do you do the merger? It's looking at weighing all of the important factors, whether those factors are financial or emotional, making sure that you understand, what are you getting into? What are you agreeing to as you make this merger, which is a legally binding business arrangement? And if you don't think so, when you end up getting a divorce, you will realize what a legally binding business arrangement it really was, because you've got so much paperwork to go through in that divorce process. But you can avoid that. You can avoid all of that if you just do that in the beginning, go through this process. And people want to talk about, the prenups. And today there's even baby nups, where you're coming together, and people frown on that because they say, oh, it shouldn't be about the money and blah, blah, blah. But it is. Marriage has been about money for many, many decades, years. I mean, look at the nations that have come together in arranged marriages because of those mergers. And so, looking at just the emotional side of it, yes, marriage is an emotional event. It's an emotional merger as well. And so making sure that you're healthy on that front is absolutely key, but you cannot neglect then the money management side of that just because you want to get caught up in the emotion. And that's just keeping it simple, So I'm here and at Mari Moore Life Mindful Money Moments. You can read more information about what I've talked about today, as well as some other very interesting topics. I will have articles that are coming out on a weekly basis, as well as you can connect with me online across social media and be able to, to see what's going on and what wonderful tips and strategies and thoughts that I have to share with you about mindset and money management, because this is a constant effort, and I'm here to educate, guide, and support you through the process. And so I thank you so much for connecting with me today. You are welcome to join the Mari More Life community at no cost. You can go online so that we can stay connected there. And that's where you'll be able to get access to all of those community resources and community rewards, which are going to build you up and support you in becoming that healed, healthy, whole person that will be able to enjoy not only your singleness and self-love, but also your you can maintain your cash consciousness as a couple, and then manage your marital money matters to enjoy the rest of your life as you create that merger. Okay. And so upcoming, I have more financial education courses that will be available. I have actually this financial liberation seminar that's coming up on February the 27th. That's the end of this month. It's a Sunday evening when that event's going to take place. It's just for an hour like this, but there's some different topics that I'm going to go through. In that session, we actually build on the foundation of your financial knowledge and how you are actually managing your money. And so we talk about, 4 areas, and these forms you can go to get online from the community for free. They are the daily affirmations, our weekly time tracking, our monthly spend and keep, which is our budget sheet, and then our quarterly goals, being able to keep that all in order. And what that does for you is it helps you to do a regular financial review so that you are key in understanding what your numbers are. Do you know your numbers? Are you familiar with what numbers you should know? Do you know your net worth? Do you know your life insurance qualifying number, your life qualification number? Do you understand your retirement goal number and how those are different? Do you understand what are the education funding numbers that you might want to have for your kids, and where's the best place to put those funds? Those are the kinds of strategies that I'm able to work through with you so that you're able to have the confidence that you need to not feel like you need someone else to complete you, but to be self-sufficient, to be self-determined, and to make sure that you've got everything that you need and you're complete. Even when you're in a relationship, you want to continue to maintain that completeness. Don't give up your power. Don't give away your self-determination because you're now with someone who, you love and trust, but make sure that you continue to not sacrifice yourself for someone else's best interest. The question you always want to ask is, well, how is this in my best interest? How is this in my best interest? Because that is how you will maintain your happiness, your peace, and the love that you want to be able to share with that other person. If you're not doing what's in your best interest, you won't be able to do what's in their best interest. And so that's my encouragement for you today. Go and sign up on the website for that seminar that's coming up at the end of the month. And then there's a workshop here. You see this identifying right there, the Transform Your Mind and Transform Your Money to Thrive workshop is actually coming up in April. And that's on the website as well. You can go ahead and sign up for that. There's several options. Once you join the community, then you'll be able to see all the amazing options that are available for you through membership plans and services that are provided and the community resources, as well as those rewards. So stay connected. I look forward to talking with you. Remember, I offer that 15-minute clarity connection, which is a consultation for you to be able to understand what are your next best steps on this journey to self-sufficiency. I look forward to chatting with you, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care.